YouTube, Jareth here, and today we're playing Subnautica. This game is currently in alpha on Steam, and the basic premise of the game is that you're a crew member of the Aurora spaceship, which encounters problems and crash lands on an alien world. You survive by escaping a pod which lands in the ocean close to the Aurora, and your objective is to survive any way you can, build sea bases, submarines, and just generally explore the planet. I've played a little bit of this game already, just to get a hang of the controls. Today we're going to be starting a new game. We're going to be playing on survival. This means we have dangerous creatures, resources, we have to manage our hunger and thirst, as well as our oxygen and our life. So I'm just going to jump straight in here and start the game up.
In 3, 2, 1.
So that ship above us that's the Aurora, currently exploding, and we're escaping in our little life pod here, plummeting towards this alien planet, and things are about to go very wrong for us here. We're just flying stuff around. Ooh, right, so this is the beginning of the game. So we're just waking up now. Everything's going bad. Trying to get our seatbelt off. There we go. Ooh, so the basic controls of this game: left click is generally to use things. Right click is to fire weapons or use fire extinguishers in this case. There we go. Let's put our fire out. So this is our little life pod here. And if we wave our magic hands, this is our little PDA.
Greetings, survivor. Great job not dying. To assist you in further survival in emergency situations, you have been issued this personal data assistant. The interface visible now will organize your inventory, display currently available construction blueprints, and holds other valuable information. Please take a moment to familiarize yourself with it.
Cool. So as the mysterious voice just told us, this is our PDA. We'll be using this a lot throughout the game. It tells us our current inventory. We've got slots to put different equipment in here. So we've got boots, suits, helmets, oxygen tanks, some various chips, and in here also we can see all the blueprints. So this is pretty much everything that can be made in the game currently. So like I said, this is an alpha build, so there'll be more game coming. What we just saw along the bottom there is that it's been 2 hours since, 3 hours, sorry, since the Aurora made landfall. It's just popping up telling us little things here. At any point we can go into here and see everything that's popped up along the bottom here. So we can see the PDA is initialized. Mining vessel has suffered catastrophic hull failure. 0 life signs detected in 100-meter range. It's been 3 hours since planetfall. The environment is an uncharted ocean planet, which is oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere, and the water contamination is high. So basically it's breathable air, but lots of contamination in the water. And we can use this PDA thing to look up a bunch of other things. So we've got a photo album in case we take any screenshots, and just a data bank here where we can look at more information. But for now, let's just crack on, really. So in our little pod here, we have our seat that we came down in. We have a communications array.
Detecting increased local radiation levels. Trend is consistent with ongoing degradation of the Aurora's dark matter drive core due to damage sustained during collision. Continuing to monitor.
Cool. So that's actually, let's go outside and let's have a look at the Aurora. So like I said, I've played through maybe half an hour to an hour of this game just to get an idea of the controls, what you have to do. There's a hostile mob there. So that's the Aurora spaceship. That's what we saw exploding, or what's left of it anyway. And as the message said, it's kind of degrading and just basically being destroyed. I believe we can go over and explore it at some point, but you need special gear because of the radiation and all that kind of stuff. So definitely be giving that a go at some point. So let's just jump back into our pod here and have a little look around. So we've got a communications ray, which I'm assuming is for communicating with other life pods, if there are any, or with other ships or that kind of thing. We'll figure that out as we go along. We've got a fabricator here, which we use for crafting pretty much everything in the game. And this splits everything up into these 4 categories here. So we've got resources, sustenance, personal, and deployables. And in the resources here, we've got all of these basic resources that we can make, some advanced ones, electronics. This is how we get water. We have all the equipment that we can make at the moment, some of the tools that we can make, and just some basic deployables. So it's worth noting this isn't everything we can build. So if we go into the blueprints here, we can see there's a whole bunch more things in here. And I know for a fact that this is not the full list of everything that can be made in the game. This is just what we know at the moment. And that message at the bottom is pretty much just saying what I've just said. So we can see the status of our life pod here. It's in pretty bad shape, but we've still got our power cells. And if you look at the very top of the screen there, it says power 75 of 75. That's basically the power of our life pod. I believe when we make other bases and things like that, we have to power them somehow. We don't have to worry about powering this base. It's got these self-charging cells, so we don't have to worry. And you basically use power when you use the fabricator, or over here there's a medkit fabricator, so we can pick ourselves up a medkit, and that goes directly into our inventory here. We've got a storage container down here, which has just got some basic supplies. So we've got some water, and we've got some food. So I'll get rid of the fire extinguisher. I have not found a use for that yet. We go back into our inventory actually. So along the bottom here, we can see that we have these 4 main stats that we have to kind of keep topped up. So we've got oxygen, health, food, and water. So like any other game, to get them up, we drink water to increase our water level there. Eat food, increase that, and we use the medkits to get ourselves back up to health. One thing I have noticed is this fabricator thing does give us a new medkit every kind of 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll be able to come back if we get attacked by something and pick up a new medkit. And generally my plan is just to keep grabbing them, put them in here, just in case something really bad happens and I need a whole pile of them or want to go exploring or something like that. Anyway, let's go for a swim. So, as you can see on the horizon, we have the ship and nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. I have noticed that there's a massive planet. I'm assuming it's a planet, because I've seen the moon around somewhere. And there is full day-night cycle on this, and like most other games, when it becomes nighttime, bad things happen. So there's monsters and things with big teeth in the ocean here. And at nighttime, basically they get aggroed and they'll come and attack you and try and eat you and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure we'll find some of those later. We seem to be smoking slightly. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump in the water and just have a little swim around, just to show you guys how pretty this game actually is. We've got all sorts of corals and resources just lying on the floor here. You notice on the bottom left, my oxygen is now going down, because basically I'm underwater, makes sense. And we've got some fish here, so I catch the fish if I can keep up with them.
Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may cause a quantum detonation. Calculating risk assessment. Death by malnourishment, 7%. By physical injury, 11%. By exposure to radioactive crash site materials, 19%. If the drive core is breached, probability of death increases to 65%.
Well, that's
New
lovely.
Creature discovered. Emergency. 10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
All the messages keep piling up. So basically what that's saying is this ship is in a really, really bad way. It's just giving us our stats and probability of survival. which as you heard aren't great. So we need to do some things to really get that up. So you can catch fish, get resources. So that all of these things here we can use. Oh, I just dropped my fish. Goodbye, fish. And these guys here, they are hostile, but only if you get really, really close to them. They'll shoot those little sacs on the back of their tails. And so I think what we're just going to do is just give them a little bit of space, especially as it's getting dark. So let's go and collect some resources and get going here. So you can pick up.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Thank you very much, game. There you go. So as you see there, you can pick up these metal salvage, and that gives us titanium. That's a basic resource. You need loads and loads of it in the game. So what I'm planning on doing is just swimming around here. Limestone is another way you get resources. You get stuff like copper, silver, lead, etc., etc. Oh, what's this here? Is that radioactive, or is it just scenery? I think. So we've got some quartz down here.
Emergency. 10 seconds.
We can use
of
that to make
oxygen
some
remaining.
Electronics. You can also use it to make glass and that kind of thing. Let's just swim around a little bit, try not to aggro anything that's going to eat us too early on. Let's grab this down here. I've noticed that every world that you generate is ever so slightly different.
New creature discovered.
Which is a nice touch. So the previous one that I was doing all my testing on was very, very shallow around the pod, so you could easily get resources. It didn't have any of these guys just floating around here. They were a little bit further off, and they had a nice little coral reef and that kind of stuff. So it's nice that it kind of randomizes the terrain every time you play.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Let's go back into our pod. So let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at the basic equipment that we're going to need. So immediately we're going to need a new O2 tank. That'll give us a total of 60 seconds underwater, whereas at the moment we only get about 20 to 30. It does go down 1 per second while you are 100 meters underwater, maybe 50. When you go deeper than that, then it starts to go down even quicker. And I think it goes down by about 2 per second. So let's concentrate on getting an O2 tank. And we also need fins, which basically just mean we can swim faster. It's always going to be a help, so we can stay under longer and swim up to surface quicker. So let's work on that for now. So we need an O2 tank, which is titanium and glass, and some silicon rubber. So we craft everything in here. So we've picked up some titanium from that metal salvage. Absolutely love the animations in this game. Just this fabricator, really, really cool. We can also make glass, which I believe we need. Let's go back into equipment. We can make our O2 tank. Cool. So that automatically gets equipped to us. We've got some other resources we picked up here. In terms of sustenance and food, you can cook those fish that I've captured. So let's put a little fishy here. And let's see, to make the silicon, we need creepvine seed clusters. Right, let's go find some of those. I believe the creepvine. Let's just go.
Warning, local radiation readings exhibit characteristics consistent with total degradation of the Aurora's dark matter drive core. A quantum detonation will occur with a probability of 85.5%. Advise observing a 1 kilometer safety range.
Well, that's not good. That ship sounds like it's about to explode. Cool. I'm sure we can watch it from the top of here and we won't get killed or anything. Have to see what happens. So you'll notice that bottom left we now have 105 oxygen, which is fantastic. That'll keep us going for a little while. I think you can get maybe better tanks or better equipment and all that kind of stuff. Let's try and find some of this creep vine that we need. Some more quartz here. This. Let's make sure there's no resources that we're missing. Shame that it's really, really dark. So I think the terrain is generating at the moment. There we go, so there's more things over here. Some quartz. So we're looking for creeper. Yeah, your home base. That little pod there has a, well, basically has the pod symbol flashing underneath it. I think that's the beacon which you can make in this game. Which I'm assuming if you can make beacons, you can create other shapes and basically highlight where your base is. So if you get lost, you can come back. I think when you make, well, that was close. When you make bigger subs and that kind of thing, and you're going out further, then you're going to need to find your way back, essentially. I wonder how close you have to get to these guys before they attack you. He seems fairly happy with me here. Anyway, what I just picked up there is salt. You use salt as well as some of this coral to make bleach, which you then use to make water. So food, water, and basic equipment, I think, is what we need today. So let's grab some more fish, make some more food. Creep vines. Ah, there we go. Here's some creep vines. Oh, would you look at that? So these guys are very hostile. They will chase after you and generally try and eat you. They've got enormous teeth. They take quite a bit of health off you if you get attacked. So we'll try and give that guy a wide berth. And what we're looking for to make our fins and other things of silicon is the seeds. So these are the creep vine. What we need is actually the seeds. Down there is some seeds. I think these guys are called snappers. Don't really want to get close enough to check the name tag.
Emergency. Seismic readings suggest a quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The central dark matter reactor will reach a supercritical state. 80-. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
I really hope we're far enough
5,
away here.
4.
Ooh, radiation.
3, 2.
Hey! Fantastic. Well, there goes the front of the ship. So we won't be escaping this world in that thing anytime soon. And there comes the wave of radiation. Awesome. Right, so let's these guys are getting pretty close. So let's go back down here. So we can get some of these seeds without getting ourselves eaten. You can see why we need the flippers, moving so slowly. I love the fact that those guys play with the wreckage. You just kind of pick it up and throw it around. I think they play together as well. Or if one of them's got it, then the other one will try and get it off him. That's really cool. Nice little touch there. Okay, so let's grab a whole bunch of these, or as many as we can, because this is quite far away. Inventory full. Okay. So different materials in this game take up different amounts of inventory space. Just make sure there's nothing around here before we open our inventory. Snap it there. You shouldn't come after us. Let's just swim above. So yeah, just these creep vines and the metal salvage take up 4 slots. There are things that take up a lot more. So some of the submersibles and storage things take up quite a lot of space in the inventory, so you kind of have to be a little bit careful what you pick up and what you don't. There's Jason. They seem fairly happy. This is going to take a little while. I think if you swim on the surface, you do actually go a little bit faster. Let's speed through this. Cool. Right. Let's make some of that silicon. Rubber. Not entirely sure how much we need. Let's go back into equipment and construct ourselves some bins. So, let's just jump back in the water. Oh yeah, that's a massive improvement. Great. Cool, right. So we can now move a little bit faster. Seeing as in our world things are quite far away, we should probably prioritise getting some kind of submersible just to help us move around. Not one that fully encompasses us, but just to get around a bit quicker, really. So let's have a look at the tools and what else we need to make. Scanner's very important, I found. There's these little crates all around so that you can scan to unlock new technologies, and that's how you get things like submersibles, new weapons and tools and that kind of thing. It's also required to get some of the power supplies you need to make bases. So we should focus on scanner. One of the other things I found very useful at the beginning in my little playthrough before this was a survival knife. You need that to basically to get hold of a lot of resources. So let's quite silicon. Let's make some silicon. Survival knife. Pop straight into our inventory. The knife has been an essential tool of the human race for approximately 2.5 million years. It is recommended that you look after this one. And here's our knife here. Aha. Doesn't do a lot of damage to the mobs, so those snappers, I think they're called, if they come after you, it's much better to run than try and fight them, because this really won't do much damage to them. And they tend to take off, I think, 30 or 40 health, depending on how big a grip they get on you. Sort of neighbours, noisy neighbours. Right, so let's just have a look here at blueprints here. We need bleach. So to make bleach, you need coral samples. This is coral. So, is it the right coral? Table coral sample, and we need common coral sample. So it's not the right one. I believe the other type of coral is these guys here. So these big coral tubes here. Let's just get some more oxygen before diving down deep. Okay, let's head down. Some little wreckages to explore and things. Little caves. Caves have got all sorts of weird creatures in them as well. So let's just hit this. I believe you just hit this. Is that inventory full? No, inventory's not full. No, okay, maybe. There we go, this one's allowing us. Let's just get, let's get 10 of these maybe. Let's pick up some quartz. And if there's any more salt around, that would be incredibly useful. That's some more there. Found early on in the game, salt's quite difficult to find, and unfortunately you need it to make water. Otherwise you'll die very quickly. As you can see, we are going down the water very quickly. Those noises keep freaking me out.
Caution, 30 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Ooh, we can make it. Yeah, easy. Easy peasy. So let's jump in here and make ourselves some bleach. Let's make a couple of these. We can have a nice stockpile of water. Sustenance, water, disinfected water. I'm not sure how putting bleach in your water is a good idea. It seems to work for this game though. And I'm sure the fabricator does something to make it so it's not just going to instantly kill us. Cool. Right, so let's get our water levels up. So you'll notice that the fish that I got earlier is now decomposing. They really don't last very long, so it's best to catch your food fresh. You'll see that on this one, if I was to actually eat it, although I gain a little bit of food, I would lose 11 water. And seeing as water is actually much more difficult to get hold of at the moment than food, because basically I just grab a fish and cook it, or fabricate it, or whatever it does. Yeah, it's a lot better to catch your food fresh. So what I'm actually going to do is jump in here and drop that on the floor so I don't accidentally grab it, try and eat it, and kill myself. So let's just let's sort out our inventory a little bit here. So a whole bunch of things. Actually, just keep the water on us, keep the med kit on us in case we get eaten. And let's just get all of this stuff in our inventory. So storage is nearly full, but we've got a fair amount of supplies to keep us going. Let's see what we should be building next. So we've got all of our stats kind of okay at the moment. And equipment, we've got our basic equipment. We don't really need a radiation suit yet because we're not going anywhere where there's radiation. I think if you swim closer to the Aurora, then that's a must-have. You definitely need that on. We don't really need first aid kits because we've got the fabricator there and we can just get them for free. But if we did want to make them, it's bleach and fibre mesh. I've not actually ever made fibre mesh before. How do we make that? Advanced material. Synthetic fibre, which applies fibre mesh. Fibre mesh must be something you can collect. So I think we're good for our equipment for now. The welder will be really useful because we've got these two machines here. We've got life pod systems and communications array, which I think we should probably repair. See if there's anybody else out there. Chat with someone. Let's drop that off so we've got a stockpile going. What else can we make? Flashlight would be pretty useful if it gets dark, or when it gets dark, not if. Knife we've already got. We've got some flares in the thing there. Habitat builder, that's for building a little base, I believe. So we might look at doing that quite quickly. You build your base on the seafloor, and seeing as actually our seafloor on this map is actually quite far down, it might be useful to build a little base maybe over that way by the creek lines, just so we're already fairly low down when we exit. Just so we don't waste oxygen going down and back up and risk killing ourselves and that kind of stuff. Anyway guys, I think that will do for today. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Click like if you like it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.